Good evening, peeps. Lisa there again. And tonight I'm coming to you basically to talk a little bit more about setting up one string instruments, a little more on canjos and diddly bows. And we did have another excellent question from Martin this evening. I did think, Martin, your timing was spot on, because earlier today I was actually setting something up to continue with this conversation. More will be revealed. So yeah, less from me and straight in. Now Martin did ask how we go about setting up the 3rd, 5th, 7th and 12th frets on a CBG, on a cigar box instrument of any kind really. It's all the same method. And yeah, there are one or two ways of doing it. Now, there's only one way that I've ever been successful in doing it. There are other ways, but I'll talk more about that later in the video. And I'll try and keep it a bit brief. But I'm thinking this should be a bit of a laugh. Because last night, when I put the video up, I watched it back and I thought, you can hardly see anything. I was showing you the positions on the neck with these tiny marks, and then I was wrestling with the instrument and stuff like that, and I thought, no, that's no good, we need to see what we're doing. So today I went rummaging through all my stock bits, as I call them. So basically in the wood closet, which is the downstairs closet, it used to contain cleaning equipment and brooms and everything. Now it's chock-a-block with wood and my ironing board. But anyway, enough of that. Let's get straight in with this. So I built this today, and it wasn't absolutely from scratch. Like I say, I threw together some bits that I had and came up with another canjo idea, the paint box canjo. Now for ages and ages I've had this watercolour paint box knocking around. It was actually a gift that someone bought me, who I did an art course with, and it had lovely watercolours inside. They've long since been used and they're gone, but I did keep the box, and I thought one day I'll probably make a resonator with it or something like that, because I've been looking into doing that. More of that later as well in another video, and I will get to that, and based on suggestions, but these things seem to come in their right season, if you know what I mean. So we did build this lovely experimental paint box canjo, and there he is. As you'll see, this one has a humongous headstock. That's actually, I pegged this one, and yeah, don't look too close because I've not sanded it yet or anything. As you can see, it's all a bit rough with the filler and the fairy dust. But I thought we would go through this together and we can mark this one, so we know exactly what we're doing, where we've got our fret positions and all that kind of a thing. And yeah, also see how this one sounds. Now I've had a quick go on this. Sounds a little bit dull because it's not been set up properly yet, and I'll talk more about there. Slow down, Liesl. And I'll talk more about that as well. So straight in. Yes, as I've said once or twice, the best way really to find those positions is to play the first few bars of Smoke on the Water by Deep Purple. If you're not familiar with the song, I would suggest listening to it a few times. I mean, I love the song and I've been listening to it for years. And the amount of times I string one of these, I've probably played the intro to it thousands of times. But it is generally accepted that it's the best way to do this. So I'll run you through that anyway, or we'll run through it together. Sadly, like I say, I can't actually play the tune because of copyright and that sort of stuff. But it's on YouTube, so if you're not familiar with it, look up Deep Purple, Smoke on the Water, and it'll probably make a bit more sense. So, as I'm sure most of us do know, the intro is sort of something like... And that's your 3rd, 5th and 7th, basically. So I do have my carpenter's pencil here. Have you ever wondered why they're flat? I can tell you, it's to stop them rolling off the bench. And yeah, because when they roll off the bench, it's such a pain that you've got to wade around in sawdust finding the pencil again. So I think these are a great invention and definitely worth having. So yeah, there it is, carpenter's pencil. So if we go back to Smoke on the Water anyway, if I can get a bit closer to the camera. This instrument has a scale length of 21.5 inches at the moment, so it's fairly short. And you know, trying to work things out mathematically from there, for me anyway, would be absolutely impossible. So yeah, if we just go in again, and it doesn't have to be bang on, you know, just sort of. So you can slide in if you're not quite got there. So obviously the first one's open. And that's your first struck note, if you like. So that's your third fret. So if you kind of just take a note, play it a couple of times. And it's about there. So then basically once you've got your position and you know roughly where it is, you can hold the string down or just mentally hold your finger there and try not to move it. And what I tend to do is to go on the side of the neck and level with the slide, just draw across. And that's your first position, which is the third fret. So if we take that position there, and on this, because this is an instructional instrument, an educational tool, I say it's fair play just to like find that position, move the string a bit, and if we just put a number 3. So there's the third fret. You go back to your Smoke on the Water. There's our next position, except you can't hear it. The more you hear the tune, the more you'll get to know where it is. And the more you kind of slide in and out of it, you'll get a real feel for it. And you won't really need the positions after a while. But if we just put another cross mark there. So that's 2 of the positions we've got now. Whoops, don't worry about that, we haven't got there yet. Yeah, that sounds about right. So we'll just take a note of where that is and we'll call that number 5. So there we've got our 3rd and our 5th. Back to Smoke on the Water. If you're wondering why it's making that slapping sound, it's because actually the string's hitting the front of the can there. And that's because we haven't done the setup properly yet. Yeah, I just kind of threw it together. Basically, this nut needs to go a little bit lower. And I think this bridge may need to go slightly higher. And then we'll have the action set. But again, I'll talk more about that later because it's a bit more, involved, shall we say. Not difficult, just time consuming. So there's our third and our fifth. Now we'll go for our seventh. So it's da 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 da. And it's about there. These aren't wholly accurate, obviously. It's just really to give you a bit of an idea when you're sliding up and down. But pretty soon, you know, you'll be playing these without even looking. And then you'll just feel it, you know. You kind of feel your way with these. I'm sure you've noticed this by now. And congratulations, by the way, Martin. Because Martin's built a diddley bow this week. A traditional broom handle and box bow. And yeah, that's great. I'm absolutely delighted, Martin, because like, as you know by now, there's nothing like playing something that you built yourself. Doesn't matter what it is, it's just got that extra edge, I think. So there we go. That's our third, our fifth and our seventh. Right. When it comes to finding the 12th fret, it's at, well, yeah, it's exactly halfway between here and here. So say this was a 24, that would be simple. You could just measure 12 inches down and that would be your 12th fret position. I tend to do it by ear these days because I kind of know how to listen out for it. If the instrument's nicely set up, you can find the harmonics as well. I'll talk more about that later as well, which is another good way of doing it. And there is another method, but I'll direct you to someone else's video for that. We'll get there in a minute, okay? So basically I would just go in and play it again. And then I tend to just hit that one again and slide up, so. See, it's hitting the box. And that's about right there anyway. So that's here, another cross. And that's more or less it there. So we go on there again and write 12. So just so that we've got them sort of marked out and you can visually see what we've got. So there you go, there's the sort of 3rd, 5th, 7th and 12th. And cross marks on the side, which makes it nice and easy to see from above. And basically that's it. If you're going to use the smoke on the water method, which I think is generally the most accepted way of doing it. Now, the very first video I ever saw actually on cigar box instruments, and I will tell you the story, was Justin Johnson. I was listening to metal basically in general, and I've been listening to some Motorhead, and then the algorithm suggested this video, and there was a guy playing Ace of Spades on a guitar made out of a shovel, a 3-string guitar made out of a shovel. Now I'd never heard of a cigar box guitar even, or anything like that at this time. I thought, that's great, I gotta watch this guy. And yeah, it was Justin Johnson. He played this amazing version of Ace of Spades on this shovel guitar that he'd built himself. It's absolutely incredible. I do suggest you check it out. But I thought, that's great, you know, and I followed him onto his channel. And the next thing I saw was a tutorial that he did. He was actually at a blues convention or something like that in Australia. And basically him and this other guy, and I can't remember the guy's name, I'm very sorry because it's a brilliant video, did a little diddley bow workshop. And that was the first time I'd ever seen a diddley bow. and they were basically doing this, showing you how to build one, a bit like my first video, a very basic one where you just screw the string into the top and all that sort of thing. And they did have a method on there for finding the fret positions, which was a bit more technical. It basically worked on the same, the same system that obviously the 12th fret is halfway between the nut and the bridge. So they took a piece of string that was the length of the scale, folded it in half, and there's the position for the 12th. And that's where I got lost, because to find like the 3rd, the 5th and the 7th, it was a system of folding it into thirds or something, or minus this, and it was too much for me. But if you would rather, I mean, I did try it actually, and I got the positions in all the wrong place, and I just gave up with that. And then I stumbled across another video where they were doing the smoke on the water method. Now I knew vaguely how to play that, so I kind of ran with that one. But yeah, I mean, if you want to check it out, it's Justin Johnson, Diddley Bow Workshop. I'm sure that'll bring it up. It's quite an old video, but yeah, the two guys on there will explain, well, everything actually about making a very basic diddley bow, but they will explain this sort of measuring it method a lot better than I can. And yeah, you may want to refer to that as well, just to sort of check that you're heading in the right direction or whatever. But as I always say, that's how I do it anyway. I'm sure there are many ways, but that's the way I would do it. So we've got our positions set, yeah. I'm going to continue with this little instrument. I've gotten into canjos. Actually, it makes quite a sound, doesn't it? I wasn't sure because it's such a small tin. It's fully acoustic. There is a spring inside, and that's basically it. Yeah, and the usual string, a humongous headstock. I couldn't resist that really. I thought, yeah, why not? And yeah, just your basic canjo setup. I mean, the beauty of canjos, as I've come to discover, because I'm new to them as well, and do check out Busker 909. Check out his canjo build. He builds a beautiful canjo, shows you how to do it, a traditional one with an actual vegetable can, and there's a pickup in there. And basically, that's the first time I ever saw a canjo build, was on his video. If you're not subscribed to Busker as well, do so. Almost daily he's on there uploading tutorials on how to play them as well. All the tab is at the top, so it's well worth checking that out. And yeah, I kind of reminded myself today really. I've been building, but I haven't spent much time playing these things recently. So I think I'm going to go back to doing a bit more of that as well. I think this is quite fun. When I strung it, it sounded dull, and I thought, oh, I don't know about this. But actually, as it's starting to stretch, it's getting quite a sound out of it. So I'm quite into that. But like I say, the beauty is, if you don't like that, you can just unbolt this can, and you've still got the neck, and you can fit anything you want on there, So, a bit like a board on box type guitar, same thing. You can take them apart, rebuild them, and you could have a different instrument every day of the week, couldn't you? You could have a few different accessories if you wanted, and just unhook the string, put a different one on, tune her up again. Yeah, the possibilities are endless. So I do suppose we should just give her a quick run through to see that our method's working. So yeah, from the top, following the markers this time. Or it would be if it wasn't hitting the box anyway. So I will show you her again when she's been set up properly. And that action's a little bit higher this end. That will hopefully stop it hitting the front of the box. Yeah, I know from experience how we can go about that, but I won't go into it now because otherwise we'll be here all night. And hopefully, in any case, that has explained a little bit more about setting up the fret positions. And as I say, from there really, you've got everything you need on an instrument like this. So there she is, paint box canjo, 21.5 inch scale length, smoke on the water, 3rd, 5th, 7th and 12th fret positions all set, and she's good to go. So, not bad. Yeah, we'll see how we get on with this one. And as usual, if you've made it to the end of the video, I hope that was informative. Thanks for staying with me. And I certainly enjoyed this. This instrument's starting to grow on me, right? Because I only finished building it about a couple of hours ago and I haven't picked her up since. But yeah, so yeah. Anyway, I am waffling, but I've really enjoyed this tonight. So again, thanks peeps. Whatever you're doing, stay safe. Wherever you are, do stay blessed. And as we always say, keep building. Okay then peeps, I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now. Bye.